As human individuals love our animal companions, sometimes more than ourselves, or others, whether that be the cute and cuddly rabbit or the big scary snake. No matter the animal, we love to explore what animal fits our personality the best or what's the cutest or the coolest. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's better, reptiles or mammals. Stick around. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you want to see more content like this, let me know in the comments. Okay, let's get back into the video. So I know talking about every reptile and mammal would take years of blood, sweat, and tears to talk about, so I'm going to keep it simple and talk about the most popular of both camps. For mammals, it's going to be the cat and the dog, and for reptiles, it's going to be the leopard gecko and the bearded dragon. Please keep in mind that I love every animal that we talk about in this video. It's just some are better than others. Okay, so first we're going to be talking about mammals. To be specific, we're going to be talking about the cat. So cats are some of the laziest, attitude-driven little monster potatoes I have ever seen. Cats are so bipolar. One moment they love you and they want to cuddle you, and the next they are trying to eat your toes, just because you looked at them the wrong way, or they got too close to you, so they force you to move. Cats can be difficult, but they make it up by being cute, when they want food, or when they want to be in your lap. Pros of having a cat is that they take care of themselves, because they do have a litter box where they could do their business, and they could just really just take care of themselves. They're like old men in animal form. Cons about having a cat: they scratch, they bite. They also have these things called zoomies where they run around at the exact moment you're trying to sleep. And at very late in the mornings when you're dead asleep, they try to suffocate you when you're sleeping by sitting on your face for comfort. Because even the cat bed is not worth their time. They also shed a lot and can potentially cost a lot in vet bills by eating something they shouldn't have. For example, Jay Schlatt's cat, Jambo, when he ate literal refrigerator magnets, causing Jay Schlatt to pay thousands of dollars in vet bills just to get the refrigerator magnets out of his stomach. The next animal I'm going to talk about is the dog. I love dogs. They're extremely special to me. They are one of, if not the only animal that loves you more than itself. So no matter what you do, they are always there for you. Though some dogs, like the pit bull, have been known to be very dangerous, I think they're just misunderstood, because no dog is born evil. It's just dependent on how it's raised. Pros about dogs: they're loyal, sometimes great for apartments, and very great for homes. They can also be emotional support animals and can generally be your best friend. They also can be guard dogs and protect you and others from danger, plus they look really cool in sunglasses. Cons about dogs: you have to go outside to take them out, and if you're in an apartment complex or out for a jog, you have to pick up the leftovers when they go. They can also smell and be very energetic. You have to train your dog. They can also be loud. If not trained properly, they can pee indoors. They also have vet bills that could be very expensive. They also need vaccines. They could also develop ear infections and other big words that I cannot pronounce. They also have to get groomed, and their food will also be expensive depending on the brand. Plus, finding a specific type of dog can be very expensive, ranging in the thousands, for example, like a pug, a Australian Shepherd, or a pit bull. Another con for cats and dogs is that some people are allergic to their fur, so when they shed, it can cause problems if you have a family member visiting and they are allergic to cats and dogs. Now, we're going to talk about reptiles. The first reptile I'm going to talk about is the leopard gecko. Leopard geckos are really easy to take care of, though there are some drawbacks in the beginning, as well as somewhat of a learning curve. Leopard geckos are extremely beautiful, they have a really cool coloration, and there are many morphs to choose from. If you buy a leopard gecko, you will really only need a 20-gallon tank for its entire life. Though if you want to buy a bigger tank, it won't hurt. They will also need a heat source. It could be via lamp or heat mat. Though if you want to buy a heat mat, buy a thermostat so you don't cook your animal alive. You could also buy a UVB bulb, though if it's not necessary, but it can be beneficial for the animal. They are also nocturnal. That means they are only active at night. Depending on your gecko's personality, 9 times out of 10 it's going to let you pick it up, but for whatever reason, my gecko hates everybody and everything and won't really let anybody pick it up. Leopard geckos are really easy for people who are barely getting into reptiles. They are also easy to feed, though if you don't like bugs, it's probably not for you. Unless you can tolerate it, because their diet consists of mealworms, dooby roaches, or black soldier fly larvae, as well as dust of calcium powder every other day. You would need a moist hide for when it's time to shed, because it could be a pain if it doesn't have the right moist hide requirements. If they don't take off the shed at once, it could very well get stuck on their face, tail, or toes. And if it gets stuck on the toes, it can cut off blood circulation and they will just chop off the toes. Though there are ways around this, it's easier to just keep their hide moist. It isn't hard to clean up after them because they do their business in the same corner every time. Pros for the animal: they look beautiful, they're stunning, they are very easy to clean up and very easy to feed. Not many problems with a leopard gecko. However, not everything is perfect. The cons: they can and will drop their tails if you aren't careful. Would not be safe if a small child picks it up because they are really fragile. They also aren't the most interesting animal to look at. They kind of just derp around, but they are still stunning to look at nonetheless. The next reptile I'm going to talk about is the bearded dragon. And well, they are somewhat needy at first. Don't get me wrong, they are great pets, but however, they do kind of have a smell. It's not a bad smell per se, but you could tell if a bearded dragon is in the room. Bearded dragons require a lot more space than a leopard gecko because they need at least a 75-gallon tank but would do best in a 120-gallon. Bearded dragons need calcium and a UVB bulb. They are very essential. If they do not get these requirements, they will develop metabolic bone disease and they will die a long, horrible death. However, if you provide these items, the rest should be fairly simple. They need a mixed diet because they are, despite the looks, are omnivorous. They need leafy greens such as romaine lettuce and collard greens you can get from any grocery store. The insects they eat are doobie roaches and black soldier fly larvae. You can also provide mealworms, though they do not process them not too well. One cool thing about bearded dragons is that they could just lay on your shoulder and sit there. They don't squirm too much and they aren't that fast. The bearded dragon is okay to be held by a child with adult supervision, as they rarely ever bite anybody. Some of the cons of a bearded dragon is that it needs a really big enclosure, which does cost a lot of money, and they need expensive lighting that you will have to change every 6 months to a year. So in conclusion, what's better, reptiles or mammals? In my opinion, I think reptiles take the cake because though they might cost more in the beginning, they cost less throughout the time you have them because it takes less money to feed them and vet visits don't cost nearly as much as cats and dogs. They also don't make nearly as much mess as mammals do.